keep safe, even as you bring us what is happening in Nyeri. We now want to come back to the heart of Nairobi, that is the CBD. Earlier on, movement was restricted to anyone who wanted to get into the CBD. Kelly Boss now joins us live. Is the situation still the same? Are people still not allowed or restricted to make their way through CBD?
Good afternoon, Grace. The situation is still the same in CBD. What the cameras are showing you, I'm with Otieno, one of our videographers, who is doing the, is attached with me to do video. So whatever he's showing you right now is the stage that typically would have been the stage that, guys from Buruburu use, just behind Archives. And that task is right there. And this is where also Mombasa Road and Jogo Road matatus use. And that is what it looks like right now. Nothing there, at least a security person and security personnel. So for the security person, I mean soldier and of course police also, just doing an almost successful job. And I'll tell you why I'm using the word almost. But that is Tomboya. And then this is Luthuli for you. Luthuli is one of the busiest streets in Nairobi on a typical day, Monday or Sunday. It's usually very busy, mostly popularly for electronics and, gadgets. But today, more of padlocks and, police, a mix of police and, the business community has also hired their own people who they consider them their own security. So they were ready to maybe, protect their own things. These are areas where typically if there were protests today, they would risk maybe, the goons breaking into shops. But today, I think, because of the control that maybe police have had in terms of accessing town, we don't have protests here. So highly likely, maybe no, maybe no looting eventually at the end of the day, like a typical protest day is. But this is Luthuli Avenue, as I mentioned earlier. But just to paint a picture to you of what town looks like. Of course, I've mentioned this in a previous live, but, to access town right now is not the easiest thing. And that's why there's nobody in town. Because all accesses in town have been maybe limited or police are in, hot spots that they think people use to access town. For example, Nyayo and the other side of Uyayaki Way coming down from Westlands and the likes of Kangemi. So there's no way of accessing town. And how we have managed to access town is through parklands, somewhere behind University Way, and then through to Ngara, then still back to University Way, and then take a left at Harambe Avenue, and then now we could access town, and this is what it looks like. For lack of repetition, is like a ghost town because there's nobody here. It's only security personnel and security persons trying to protect shops and their own businesses. So that is the picture in town right now. And as I said earlier, one of the main reasons why protests happen or one of the major reasons why the opposition, the last time there were protests that were not Gen Z led, was using protests is to try and, stop businesses from going on. And then if you can stop businesses, then maybe someone might listen to you. And that was the tactic by, the former prime minister. Enter Gen Z, who did their thing in 2024, and subsequent one just recently, maybe 2 weeks ago. Both managed to stop business, and stopping businesses means being listened to, which ironically they were not listened to. So in comes Saba Saba, where young people are trying to mimic what the guys like Matiba did to bring in multi-party and bring in change in politics, but in their own way right now, because right now you cannot, multi-party isn't our problem right now. Our problem is bigger or is different. So different problems, different solutions, and even a different generation to do that. And so that's why this is happening. But one of the things that I had mentioned is that a win is a win. So even though there is no protest in town, businesses have stopped. So someone needs to listen to another so that maybe we don't continue losing, as much money as we are losing. And I'm mentioning money because Nairobi is the central. That's why it's called CBD. It's the central of businesses. It's the central of, the economy in terms of it's the main, transit to many places in Kenya. So if you're coming from Uganda using Air 104, you highly likely need Nairobi to transit to Mombasa or any other place. I've met guys, and I've mentioned this earlier, I've met guys at Waiyaki Way around Kangemi who are stuck and cannot access town, either to transit to Machakos, transit to Mombasa, or even just to enter Nairobi anyway. So I've seen a mother with kids who are stranded. I've seen a guy who is supposed to be in Machakos to his employee for work who is stranded. So Nairobi is mostly a center of many of the things that is happening. Stopping Nairobi might seem like another day to another person, but really it's not. It's a lot of money that is lost, both by the shops and any other thing that perhaps like the collateral ones, like the guy who is stranded in Waiyaki and stuff like those. But for now, Grace, back to you in studio.
Right, thank you so much, Kelly, for that. Of course, the restriction is quite a hot topic, and we're going to be having that discussion with the panelists later on. But we now want to cross over to Thika Road and see how things are panning there, where Davis